We're fucked. There's really no other way to say it. The one big bucket of bullshit bill has passed the House today, Thursday, July 3rd, and President Trump gets his wish. He's going to be able to sign this devastating piece of legislation by July 4th. And if you disagree with me because you don't like my politics, you really need to rethink things. When we look over time at the impact of legislation like this, the bottom 95% of Americans continue to be harmed, while the top 5% continue to benefit. So you and me, if you're watching this video, whether we voted for the same person or not, we are in the same boat. And you keep punching holes in that boat because you want to protect billionaires. This ain't about emotions. This ain't about me being a crazy woman. This is about math. So look at the wealth redistribution that has happened in the United States since 1989. In 1989, the top 1% had 22% of the wealth. Today, they have over 30%, and meanwhile, the bottom 50%, their wealth has declined. These kind of tax policies is wealth redistribution from the bottom to the top. The Bush tax cuts in 2003, our revenue to GDP ratio has dropped significantly, and that has a huge impact on whether or not the United States can pay for essential things like Social Security and health coverage. 2017 tax cuts, the corporate tax cut that President Trump promised was going to raise everyone's annual household income, surprise, surprise, it did not. Regular working Americans saw zero increase in their net household income since 2017, but salaries of executives soared. They got huge raises as a result of these corporate tax cuts. Regular working Americans got nothing because trickle-down economics doesn't work, y'all.
The American empire is over. We're done. We peaked about 12, 15 years ago, and we are on a down. And it's very hard for the American people, which I understand. I am one. It's hard to get your head around that. We've had a century of on the way up, which is a lot more fun than on the way down. But it does happen to every empire. We're only the latest. Look at the British, how far they've fallen. We're in that process. So the problem with the trickle down is, yeah, there might be more jobs, but they're going to be created in China. They're going to be created in Brazil. They're going to be created in India. They're not created here. We have the greatest level of corporate debt this country has ever seen, off the chart. The greatest level of personal debt, and we have the greatest level of government debt. Our government debt is now trillions of dollars greater than our annual output. That was not the case in the 20th century. It is the case now. What you're seeing is desperation politics. The whole Trump phenomena ought to say to you, wait a minute, these jerky moves that are out of whack, right? In recent days, we have seen the decision of the Trump administration to kiss the war in Ukraine goodbye. We're not doing that no more because we can't afford it. We can't keep funding a war, which, by the way, the West is losing, as anybody who pays attention knows. All of these things are signs of what? Of a country that is in trouble and is turning on its friends because it can to save itself. We're going to take over, we're going to get your energy for nothing. We're going to, make you build the wall, Hugh, in Mexico. Look what the genius in a way of Mr. Trump is that without understanding it, because clearly he doesn't, he feels in his own way, the way lots of people do, that there's something that necessitates going way beyond what has been done because our need as a society is beginning to show up.
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up, because it's one of my favorites.
She rents a one-bedroom apartment. She and her daughter sleep together in the same room. And one-bedroom apartment is going to be $1,600. She spends $100 on utilities. She's like me. She drives a 2008 minivan, $400 for car, expenses, and gas. Net $325. Low-cost food budget, that is ramen noodles. A low food budget is $400. That leaves her $77 in the red. She has a Cricket cell phone, the cheapest cell phone she can get for $40. She's in the red $117 a month. She has after after-school childcare because the bank is open during normal business hours. That's $450 a month. That takes her down to negative $567 per month. How should she manage this budget shortfall while she's working full-time at your bank?
I don't know that all your numbers are accurate.
She's short $567. What would you suggest she do? See if you can find a way for her to live on less than the minimum that I've described.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Mr. Diamond, you know how to spend $31 million a year in salary, and you can't figure out how to make up a $567 a month.